Hello everyone, welcome to Planet Holistic. This is Todd Schaefer.
This is Kira Schaefer.
And this is Planet Holistic again. Yay!
Yay!
So today I want to talk more about MBTI, or the myers-briggs type indicator. Specifically about you. I'm pointing at you. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, if you listen to our last episode, we did touch a little bit on myers-briggs in our rejection podcast. And a lot of the types of people that we attract to this type of business, being NFs or intuitive feelers, are also NFs. Or at minimum, they're generally going to be feelers. I don't think I've seen one thinker personality type that we've attracted to our business yet, because I don't...
Nope.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't think they would even see this as being something for them. Why do you guys have a community? You know, that's the kind of thing. Yeah. Anyhow.
Why are you doing so much hand holding?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Why are you doing that? I'm just going to give you my book and publish it, and I want to make sure I have blah 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 end result.
Yeah.
But at any rate, thinkers are not bad people. They get stuff done. You know.
Yeah.
They get stuff done, and they're awesome. And what I'm really trying to illustrate is that they have a different set of needs. And the thinker, uses data in their decision-making process a lot of times, whereas the feelers use their feelings and how authentic they feel about something to make a decision-making process. You can see how that might cause a couple of quandaries for each type. You know, if you're looking to marry someone and you're only looking at data, might be an interesting marriage, right? How much money do you have in your bank account?
Usually not one of the questions you ask somebody on a first date.
Yeah, right. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I don't know. I mean, I've got a loose plan, but...
Or what's your MBTI?
Yeah, right.
An NF will already know theirs and want to know the person's.
Right.
Yeah, that they're dating.
Yeah. Usually a thinker won't even know what their MBTI is, because going inward isn't necessarily a top priority for them. It's going to be going after other things, external things. But your feelers, on the other hand, will make decisions based mostly on feeling. And if you make decision only on feeling without considering the other things that might be glaring you in the face that a rational thinking dominant person might do, could lead you to a quick divorce in your marriage. So I mean, all in all, I would say thinkers make smarter business decisions. In general.
They get to their end goals quicker.
They know what their end goals are, and they got the tunnel vision to make that happen. Whereas your feelers are definitely going to be more process oriented, and they're going to want to be making sure that they're authentic along the way. So it's kind of like, your thinker dominant people might have too much structure, and your feeling dominant people might have not enough structure, which is why my book, Selling Emotionally Transformative Services, is designed for NFs, intuitive feelers, who do need that structure. And the reason I wrote it for them and not the sensor thinker world is because because I believe in NFs. The world is completely dominated percentage-wise by sensor thinkers. The intuitive feeler population is growing, but they're largely isolated and underdeveloped, especially in business. So that my book was designed to help people to help NFs to become more legitimate business owners and experience more success as business owners, and help set them up so that they can help more people just by being a little bit more organized. Yeah. So that said, did you have a comment on that before I move on?
Well, also the feelers are also going to be our counselors, our psychologists, people like that who are or school counselors who are in a position that they actually help STs to become more in touch or get more in touch with their feelings. So yeah, when you said that more and more people are becoming feelers, or they're becoming more aware of their feelings as being a part of their process or a part of their life, I think that's really true.
One of my best friends is an INFJ, just like me and Kira. I don't know if I mentioned this before on a different podcast or not, but he is a licensed counselor, and he was working with a attorney who was an ISTJ, a sensor thinker. A lot of attorneys are thinkers, and that makes sense for the profession. A feeler attorney. I do know a feeler attorney, but generally not a profession that feelers are going to be drawn to. But he was working with this lawyer and having a really hard time with her because she didn't understand. She said things like, "I just feel like we're slinging mud against the wall and seeing what sticks." She wanted to know the end goal. What is the end goal? Why are we doing this? Da 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 da. But she felt anxiety and she felt like crap. But she had no tools to feel better. She did not know how to get from here to there, which is why she was having so much trouble. T's are not process-oriented. Feelers are process-oriented. So I gave him a little bit of coaching, and I said, you just have to tell her that doing counseling is about you talking and me listening and understanding that it is a process. It is not a goal. You cannot achieve the same end.
Right, you can't win.
You can't lawyer your way through counseling.
Yeah.
You can't lawyer your way through it. It's not going to be the same result. I realize that you've gotten everything else you've wanted by applying your thinking skills to life. But when you're needing to feel better, you have to allow yourself to feel your way to the goal and explore those feelings. So I think once he started framing it that way for her, she started to get it and realize there isn't any place we need to arrive at.
That's very challenging for us.
Yeah, that's a big thing. But you have to be willing to trust the process and just know that this is what it looks like to start feeling better. It's allowing yourself to talk about how you're feeling and allow yourself to feel those feelings. You will start to feel better as a result of talking through those things. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it will eventually happen. Do you see how that is a different approach from trying to say, tell me how to get where I need to be in my feelings, without me covering any ground or any of this open water from here to there?
Right.
Very different process. So I think once he framed it that way, it became a lot easier for her. That said, let's talk more about you, the listener. So a lot of our audiences are going to be intuitive feelers. INFP, INFJ, ENFP, ENFJ. And I'll probably go more into the different types for these people, perhaps in future podcasts. But like your INFJs, like me and Kira, are going to be leading with perspectives and then having a co-pilot of harmony, which means they're going to be the teachers and the counselors, and they're going to get a lot out of the group dynamic of pulling people together with the harmony. Same thing for ENFJs, their harmony and perspectives. So having that group element and that group dynamic of support and being able to teach and counsel is a really big thing that I think ENFJs and INFJs are drawn to. Your ENFPs and your INFPs, they're about authenticity, I think, and effectiveness. Not effectiveness. Authenticity and something else. But they're really big on their vision and wanting to share that vision with other people. And there usually is a group dynamic with that kind of thing. There usually is a harmony element of some sort with that dynamic. They like to explore. They tend to be more extroverted, even though INFP is an introverted personality type. And they just want to really feel drawn to get their vision and their message out into the world. Whereas I think the INFJs and the ENFJs are a little bit more focused on, I would venture to say, one-on-one work and the teaching and the counseling and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and INFJs to me, I don't know as much about Myers-Briggs as Todd does, but as an INFJ, I love the community element, and I love connecting with people, and I love being a part of it. So, and at the same time, I like to be separate from it as well.
That's INFJ.
Right? I like to watch all the cogs move, but allow myself that downtime, that away time, that kind of thing to just recharge. And we've just done a collaborative book with 100 authors, and there have been a couple of days over the last 2 weeks where I said to our group, to our community, hey, Todd and I are taking a cyber break. We're not going to be online today, and we're going to go and play. Because if we don't, we also run that risk of doing that introverted isolation, work thing all the time, because what we do is important to us and it is valuable to us. And it is still results. There are still results that need to be achieved, but we know how to do them very well. And that's the other thing too, that we will have a system in place for many things. We want to make sure that that system works so that we can duplicate our efforts, which is also very important to us because we want to fulfill the promises that we make.
Speechless. I couldn't have said it better. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kira. And that's it. No, yeah, that's fantastic. Maybe I should write a book just for NFs.
Yeah.
On because you can leverage your best assets if you understand your thinking style, your decision-making style, and how you show up in the world. Kira and I have done that. We've worked other businesses that cater to our strengths to an extent, but not as well as doing a publishing business, which really leverages our greatest strengths and minimizes the things that we either don't want to do or aren't good at. Yeah. So I strongly recommend, if you do not know your Myers-Briggs type, to go to personalityhacker.com and take their 10-minute test. It's a great test. I know these people. They're really great. And the results will tell you a little bit about your thinking, your decision-making style, and what your 4 cognitive functions are.
It'll also tell you careers that might work for you.
It'll also tell you careers, absolutely,
and careers that don't work for you.
For sure, and it should make sense because you've lived your life. You know what you've tried before because your parents told you should be this or that, and you're like, this doesn't work for me because you're not like them, or what have you, perhaps, at least was the case for me. But yeah, if you do know your type, then you can start leveraging your strengths a little bit better. And not only that, I've said in other podcasts, it's great to use MBTI to work with your clients. And once you know their type, you can cover so much more ground, so much more quickly with them and build trust and get them faster results in a lot less time than it would normally take to get to know somebody.
It also helps with conflict resolution as well. If you know what another person's strengths and weaknesses are, or what their propensity is more towards, then you're able to go, oh, that's just them being them, and I don't have to make myself wrong in it, and I don't have to make them wrong in it either.
Absolutely, yes. Learning how other people operate allows you to speak their language.
And that's loving them.
And that is loving them. Absolutely. So, we're out of time. Thanks so much for joining us in this podcast. I'm Todd Schaefer.
I'm Kira Schaefer.
And this is Planet Holistic. Bye-bye.